What's up, everybody? Welcome to the PixelPlay Podcast, episode 212. My name is Adam, a.k.a. CS Radical, joined as always, Kaylan, a.k.a. Catastrophe, and Chris, a.k.a. Jin and Chris.
I have nothing to follow up with the jazz.
Did you like that flare?
Fantastic.
Did you like that flare?
That was so fantastic. Like, that's it. Podcast over for the day. We peaked. There's no way we can move past that.
And then everybody on the audio version be like, what happened? What happened? That's what watching the video version is for, guys. Come on.
Yeah, you gotta
in this
watch
day
it.
and age,
Jesse.
you don't just want to hear audio. You don't want to just hear us in your car or just while you're studying. You want to see
You're
these
missing
beautiful
the flare.
faces here on screen and seeing all the weird shit that we do in the background.
Yeah.
I got a face made for podcast audio.
Right?
No, you got jazz hands, man. Those are for video.
The hands might be for video. The face is all audio.
So we got a great show for you guys. Obviously, we're going to be talking about all the stuff we've been playing lately. But, I mean, heels after our episode on Xbox and how they should get out of the console market. Hey, why don't we talk about what the next gen's going to look like? Because apparently Sony's like, we'll just announce that we're starting a production on a console now at the same time. Someone saw the writing on the wall and went, we're just going to keep, like, trampling over this now.
Stop.
Hey, do you see that bear? Poke it.
I like to think of the Simpsons meme where they're like, stop it, he's already dead.
And Nintendo's sitting there being like, fuck, what are we supposed to do now? Oh, yeah, we got the Virtual Boy coming out. That counts.
No, Nintendo puts its head up and says, what, there's a console what?
There's a console who?
But yeah, we are going to be discussing...
Then they go back into their pile of money.
We're going to be discussing the idea of, like, you know... I mean, the rumor is they're going to be, like, getting set for 2027. You know, we're going to talk about whether, you know, that's the best time, if we're ready for that, what we think about this generation as a whole. We'll get all of that through the later parts of the show, but you know what you're really here for. Us talking about all the dumb shit we've been playing. Because that's what we do.
I've been playing dumb shit indeed. Well, no, not really.
I mean, I'll finish off because I'm
games
just
I
got games that I finished up. Discounty is done.
Nice.
So
Did you like it?
the way that I'll explain Discounty is very, very simple. It is a 10 out of 10 game that decides to go out of its way to make you so annoyed with its storyline that you have to take an automatic point off of it for being how dumb it is. Discounty is a supermarket simulator that decides that you have to live in a small village like farm town where everybody is a piece of shit. Everybody.
Wow.
Like maybe...
So you're running a Walmart.
I'm trying to think of all the characters. There's like 2 people that I think are okay. And everybody else is either a busybody or a dumbass or a piece of shit.
Adam, have you never worked retail? That's just any store
Yeah,
you
you
work
just
at.
described
I
me
know,
working
but I
in
didn't need
retail
to
in
play
college.
that. I don't need that shit in my
authenticity.
cozy games. I wasn't hoping to play Karen Supermarket Simulator.
Should have thought of that.
But no, like to go off of what I said last week when I was talking about Discounted, like the game itself is fucking great. My only downside is the story now, because now that the story's done, it ends. I was saying to a friend the other day when I was talking about this game too, I think this game also must have ran out of money because it ends so out of the blue that I think they realized, shit, we don't have any funds left. We need to just finish off what we got here and just that'll be it. Which, as a proof of concept, is cool and all. It just would have been nice if you're going to put a story in there for it to actually like be good. Because like the story in a nutshell is you get brought into this town. Oh, by the way, your aunt, who is also a fucking giant bitch, is like, here, you're going to take over this grocery store for me. And you're like, all right, cool. And then later she's like, all right, I'm going to fire this person now. I'm like, what'd they do? I don't care. I just want to fire him. Okay. All right, we're going to expand the store. We're going to take away some of the memories that people have of the town now by doing so. Well, what if we don't? No, we're doing that. Okay. Like, the entire game is just you doing nothing wrong, but you get all the abuse. Oh, God. It's like being a fucking customer service person. Oh, my God.
This is
This
retail,
really is
Adam.
retail. Oh,
Yeah,
my
this
God.
They've nailed the experience.
They've
Never mind.
nailed
This
it.
game's
This
a 10
is the
out of
most
10. I changed
authentic
my
game.
mind.
This is as simulating as Flight Simulator.
But yeah, I still fucking love the game. Just story stupid.
Are you
I gotta
really here for
say-
the story though?
What?
I'm here for the hair bob. Like the way that their hair all like bobs
It is a
on their
super
head
adorable
is
game.
just
That
sit
is
there.
for sure.
It's so adorable.
Like now that the game's done, like I do think that I'm right in that it was rushed out because it feels like there's still much missing. Because there's only one expansion. There isn't really that much in terms of like upgrades to the store and such. Like you'll see, like, if you're watching the video version, you'll see like the cow thing there on the floor. That makes any animal products get a bit of an extra bonus to, like, it's appealing, which, you know, gets people to buy it more often as like bonus purchases, because they'll always come in with a list. And then if you have like things on like a really nice shelf, or you've got these little statues like the cow thing there to make it more appealing, then they may buy that as like an extra like impulse buy. Those run out right away. Like, it's RNG when you get them sometimes. So like, it took me a while to get a certain one after a while, but like, there's like 4 of them and that's it. And you can get them really quick if RNG is nice. There's nothing else. There's shelf upgrades as the story goes along, but it's basically just this one stocks 10, this one stocks 20, this one raises the appeal. Like, that's all it is. Like, there's nothing special with them. There's no like, here's a multi square shelf, so like it's a rectangle or something. Like, it doesn't feel like by the end of the game you have a proper supermarket. It's just a bunch of bins. Like, it just feels like you're opening your own crazy bin store. It's not really all that special. And then like you get an employee that helps you stock, but you know, Chris, like you know a TCG card simulator, right? Or the shop simulator. Mm-hmm. Like in that game, for example, you can get upgrades for them to be fat. Like you can have like better employees that they're faster and whatever else. You just get the one guy and that's it. And he's slow as shit. Like, you still end up stocking half the store yourself anyway. So like, doesn't really help much there. So by the end of the game, like, it just feels like there's still so much more room. Like, I would have liked to see like, oh, what happens if, you know, you get a little bit more store space. The customizability with the floor and the walls is very limited, and it only counts for the storefront. You can't change the floor of the back room, even though when you expand the building, they now have 2 different floor colors because you took the floor from the other building. And you can't ever fix that. So as an OCD guy, I'm hating looking at this half gray, half brown floor going, I why can't I fix this? I need to fix this. And also, you live in a trailer the entire game and don't get to actually have a house by the end of it. That's also disappointing. But then again, I guess with a minimum wage salary, I guess, oh god, this game is way too realistic now that I think about it.
Yeah, like you're just describing more retail situations here.
Life is Strange True Colors made me understand what I like about small town games. That game understood what I wanted.
Game. Yeah, that was a really cozy, cool.
But yeah, as a cozy game discount, he's fucking tremendous. Like my final rating is a 9 because I do think the story is enough to like kind of just leave a bad taste in your mouth by the end, because it just kind of finishes with no real resolution. Because they have like a sort of mystery plot that goes on, and it's not really resolved. It just kind of goes, okay, make your choice. Are you going to be a bitch to this person or not? And you're like, well, no, they haven't done anything wrong to me, so no. And then the game's like, okay, credits. I'm like, cool. So like, like you can still play the game afterwards, but with no incentive to upgrade. I did all the upgrades by the time that I got to the last part of the game, so like, there's no incentive to continue with it unless you just like doing that, I guess, which I don't without any sort of thing to work towards. So it didn't really mean anything to me. But like for a 10 to 15, well, I guess it was more like 15 hours, but like for a 15-hour game, I'm not complaining. Like it did everything that I wanted it to, minus the fact that it didn't pay off the end. That's about it.
Nice. This does look like a cozy game I want to play.
Yeah. I got this downloaded. I got the demo downloaded for Jen to try on the Switch. So.
Oh yeah, we haven't got a Jenny Bezos update yet on that.
Yeah, it's hard to get her to play a game, but if she gets in, she's going to be in hard. So stand by. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Stand
and then I don't know if you guys want to talk about Ghost of Yotei, because that's the only other thing I've done. So I'll let you guys.
How do you know that's what I'm playing?
Well, I mean,
yeah. How do you even know?
I mean, I assume because we made the joke last week that it's the first time in a long time, maybe ever, that we're all playing the same thing. So I'm just gonna assume.
Yeah, I'm still playing Ghost of Yotei. I've not gotten past the second. I'm in like I think it's the plains, the area. I'm going against.
I finally crossed into the Oni territory and I full cleared the main first area. So.
Yeah, I've mostly cleared it. I figure I'm gonna go back and I didn't do the eastern part of the map because I figure I'll go that way when I go up towards like the next.
Yeah, by happenstance, I did all that side first, and then realized, oh, if you go up to where the Oni is, that area actually just cuts off. There's nothing else after it. If you go the other way, it keeps going. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to finish this one section first then before I literally just go to straight line around everywhere else.
Yeah, so I've not finished like the first like home base area, I'm going to call it. But now I'm in like the second part going for the Oni, and Yeah, just clearing bases. I've gotten a lot of this stuff. I'm just got a couple strongholds to do, and I'm loving this game. This game is fantastic. I've gotten a little bit more stealthy. My complaint last time is I didn't feel as much as like a ninja.
Yeah, if you max out
you're not-
the assassin part of it, like which I did, like it starts to give you a little more applicability for it too. And now that I'm
Yeah,
getting
a
better
little
with archery, it also helps with that.
Yeah, I think the problem is I think going back to our conversation of Assassin's Creed, I think I just got spoiled with Shadows of the verticality and how much you can move around. It's a nitpick. I still feel like the stealth is better here, but I think it just spoiled from Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah.
But I'm liking it. I'm absolutely loving it. And then yeah.
Yeah, like at this point, Yote is, and I'm not shocked by this because of how my disdain of open worlds has been. This is not a game I'm consistently playing right now. Like I'm usually popping this on when I have like a podcast or something I'm listening to because I can just start messing with the open world in the meantime. And then if it comes like main story time, then I'll turn the podcast off or I'll save the game or I'll just go do something else for a little while longer until the podcast is done, and then I'll go get ready for story time after that. But I mean, as the game stands, like it's perfectly doing the job of what I wanted it to do, and it's got my attention a little bit more than Assassin's Creed has, like I said earlier. I think it might just be the format of these types of games. And I mean, we even had the conversation not too long ago about how Sony seems like a lot of copy and pasting with their story formatting and such. That like this game isn't going to do anything to go over the top for me. This is probably like a solid 7-8 max as the ceiling for me. That's just, doing its job of like when I need something for a couple hours and I got something I'm listening to in the background, it works.
Yeah, doing the side stuff around the map, I could definitely see throwing on a podcast and stuff and just like zoning out and just doing it because it is it's perfect for that when you're not doing the main story stuff, obviously, like you said. Yeah, I've been playing this too. Still, I'm actually in the same area as you guys. I'm in the plains.
Hey.
I purposely avoided like the main story.
Yeah,
like,
they're
market
like, go
you're
to the
supposed
village.
to go
You're
to.
like, no.
I literally went like all around
it.
Done.
I mean, we
much
play
around
JRPGs, Chris. We understand. Whatever you tell us to do, we are going to do is everything we possibly can before.
Yep. Yeah. I love just like discovering stuff in this. Like it's so cool that you just kind of see somebody at a camp or something, or like there's just something like a smoke coming up or something behind a tree line, and you just kind of go to something because you're like, what is that? That looks really cool, or maybe there's something there, and it just kind of like turns out to be something, or it leads into something else. I love the way that you discover stuff in this game. Especially when you compare it to something like Forbidden Horizon West or whatever.
That's it.
Horizon Forbidden West. Yeah, like it's just like where that was just like all on the map. Even Assassin's Creed, that kind of stuff. It's just like here's a bunch of icons. I don't think Shadows did it as much. I think
Shadows had it where it was question. There was like question marks, but you didn't know what it was.
Yeah, and it was just like a lot where here you see the map, and even once you complete stuff, it's like not even really there that much. Like it doesn't look overwhelming when you look at the map.
I was going to say, like,
It's
I
more
don't
just
know
fast
if
travel points.
someone said, like, for certainty if it is, but it feels like this map is progressively smaller than what Tsushima's was. And even if it isn't, it doesn't feel like it's that large either.
Well, I think the benefit it has is that it's sectioned, right? Like Ghost of Tsushima only had 3 sections that were massive, but they were all like by the end of the game, you could go from one end of the map to the other with no loading screen. Whereas Ghost of Yote, it's truncated, right? There's I think like 4 or 5 different like areas. Yeah. They're hub worlds, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I actually kind of like that because when you're in each area, it feels like small map, one section. You're only dealing with that section. You might like fast travel back to a previous map just to like go to an armor and upgrade gear, but it's like 2 seconds to fast travel, and then it's 2 seconds to fast travel back. You don't feel that overwhelmingness that you will in other maps where it's just like, boom, here's just massive map. Here's the continent of America. Now go and like, just find everything, and it's all listed here. And there's 52,000 different icons, right? Like,
no, thank you, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Valhalla was the worst.
Yeah.
Holy heck. Yeah.
I haven't found a costume yet that I absolutely love in terms of like aesthetic for my character. I'm using the bounty hunter costume, and that's the coolest looking one so far.
don't like the upgrades because it just makes the armor look worse.
Yeah, the upgrades to the armor, I agree. I wish you could leave the visual of them as the like original look, but with the stat upgrades.
I also wish that because there's some armor that I like, but I don't like the stats, and I wish there was a way that I could kind of like have it where I can take the aesthetics of one but get the stats of the other.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that'll come one day in an update, but right now it's
either that or
if
I had just waited until they put it on PC and then played it with mods, there's probably like somebody that just puts like, here's some really crazy cool like ninja like a garb that just is like a permanent fixture over it. I'd be like, hell yeah.
I do like the little side game in this, the coin flicking game.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so much fun.
That's fun. That is a lot of fun. That's a great mini game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this game. It's so visually beautiful too. The amount of screenshots I've taken is stupid. Like I'm waiting for my PS5 to be like, there's no room. You're done.
It's like really another one.
Yeah, like I get the sense that when this is all said and done, this is assuming I finish it, which there's a good shot that I will at this point. It'll just be probably Kaylan might actually finish this before me, the rate that I'm going, because I'm always playing something else in conjunction now. But like I feel like when we're all done with this game, we're kind of gonna have a similar opinion of like, this isn't like a game of the year level game from Sony, but this is a very much like comfort food level, like just good solid experience that you just get every ounce out of.
Yeah, like I think the way I would describe it is safe. Like it's not bad.
Yeah,
it's not like there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not doing anything exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. It just
feels
like
not exciting is not the word, because like it is exciting.
It's not doing anything to like break it apart from everybody else.
Yeah.
Honestly, it feels like a previous Sony game just improved. Like the formulas they've already got, and they've just kind of improved on them.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, we don't have to assume that every new game that comes out has to be Game of the Year. Sometimes you can just put another solid addition. I mean, that's what we were saying for a while with Xbox's library. It's like, look, is every game like South of Midnight a gem? No, but they're perfectly serviceable games that will get you your hours in. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What else?
Aside from Ghost of Yotei,
anybody else been playing anything different?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I've been aside from Ghost of Yotei, I've still been working my way through Donkey Kong Bonanza. I am on. Sorry.
I was gonna say, has your opinion improved?
It has. I think. I'm liking it more now. It's kind of clicked. I'm on sub level, I think 700.
Yes.
The resort level.
That's when it happened for me.
Yeah, so I'm liking it and stuff like that. I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's much left to see. Like I feel like I've seen the game, so I don't know how much is left. It might change, but like I feel like okay, I get the gist of it, and I don't see. Like I know I still have 2 more power-up slots and stuff like that, but it's getting to. The gameplay loop seems to be formulaic in that you get to a world, you meet some old like person there who you have to go find some record discs that then gets you a power, and that power then just opens up that level a little bit more. And it's like required for those small few puzzles, but like it's getting kind of repetitive in that sense.
I won't spoil anything, but the good news is like you're like halfway, I would say, in the game. And besides those, like 4 whatever number it is of the old like Bonanza elders or whatever I don't know what the hell they were called in the game. They're like that part kind of stops.
Okay.
So it's not just the same formula over and over, and that's why my interest in the game actually improved. Because for me, it almost felt like that's when the game started fully starting in a weird way.
Cool. Yeah, like
it's
good so far, but I've not gotten to. I don't see yet like the crazy sort of ratings and reviews that this game is getting hasn't clicked there yet. Like this game is a solid game, but it doesn't feel. I don't know. I don't see where the hype, like how it got so hyped yet.
Yeah. For me, it's hard. Yeah, again, I don't want to spoil anything, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's more like you get to this point like you're at now, and it's like, okay, now it almost feels like this was all a build-up, and you get all the powers and blah, 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 blah. And then the world's a story, and the imagination of the developers and what they could kind of do with it, they kind of change it or they don't change it. It's not like the game changes into a different game. It's just they finally, it seems like now they don't have to do all the like get the powers, do the build-ups, and just all right, now let's go have fun with what we have. And it kind of goes that way, and a lot more imaginative, and the worlds get a lot more fun and interesting, and twists and turns, and cool stuff happens. Cool stuff.
And like it's not to say this game is bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just like for me, like I have this right now on my Switch, and I have Ghost of Yotei, and I'd rather play Ghost of Yotei. And then once I finish Yotei, I'm probably going to move on to Metal Gear Delta, and I'm more excited to play that than I am to continue on with Donkey Kong. Like, I'm still going to play it, but that's my... If I can't play my consoles in the basement, or I'm on a road trip or something, I'm playing Bonanza.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this at no point I would say is better. This is not like Game of the Year to me or anything along those lines. Some Nintendo games have been that, obviously, in the past. This one to me is not that. This is feels like kind of like what we're just saying with Yotei, like safe. This is kind of typical-ish Nintendo platformer, safe, fun, but not like Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
The other thing that like I'm kind of annoyed at, and it just kind of came to me as we were watching the videos, like there's not a lot of like enemy type in that sense. Like I feel like the enemies are all like I feel like I've seen it all in that sense. Like there's not new enemies, there's not like it's just these little rock things that you smash.
Yeah, that I can't remember if that improves or not. I doubt it does.
It's a minor concern.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Nice.
And then Chris, I assume you finished Tactics?
I did finish Tactics, and I said that after I was done Tactics, I was going to focus on one game, which is just Yotei. So naturally, I've already fucked that up, and I've been distracted. I've actually been playing Shinobi Art of Vengeance, that 2D platformer Shinobi. I think it was Yotei. I think I just was playing Yotei. I did pick up that and the Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, I think it's called. Again, both like NES and Sega Genesis. Ninja Shinobi games, 2D platformers, homages to the 80s and 90s, but in modern times. I'm in the third world. I think there's 14 levels in total, and I'm on level 6 or 7, something like that. I fucking love this game. Holy shit. It is hard, but not the type of hard wherever it's I die and I'm that's ridiculous, I don't get it. It's more fuck, I was supposed to jump and I didn't. It was purely that. It's you have a jump, a double jump, and then a dash forward. If you're on the ground and do a dash, you actually do a forward roll. When you're dashing or rolling, you can't take damage. So it's if you got an enemy swinging a sword, you can actually do that roll. You'll go past the enemy and end up behind them to kind of swing your sword at them. And it's a lot of just being all over the screen and balancing the enemies and trying to hit them and stuff, plus a lot of fun platforming combos. It'll, if you hit an enemy enough and their stagger meter goes up, they'll get a little red symbol above them, and if you hit the L1 and R1 buttons, you do an automatic finisher on them, which is something you want to do because then they drop health and ammo and stuff for your throwing weapons. It's kind of like Doom, where you could do those finishers and it would give you ammo and health if you did those finishers on enemies versus just swiping or shooting at them until they died. Each level in this has been completely different. One of them will be a fish market where all this crazy shit happens. Another one will be this lantern festival where all this crazy shit is happening. Another one will be the mountains where you'd think nothing crazy would be happening, but crazy shit is happening. It is so much fun, and I think the best thing of this game is just how reactive your character is to your inputs and how quickly you can feel like a ninja god. Because you can be attacking somebody, and it's just light attack, heavy attack, and then a roll. If you're in the air, the roll becomes your dash. And you'll just roll behind two enemies and start hitting them, and then they're about to swing at you, and you roll behind them and you're hitting them again, and you do a normal attack, but then you do a powerful attack which launches them in the air and knocks them down, and then hits another enemy, and then you roll to start taking out that third enemy because that one can do range damage, while the other two melee damage characters or enemies are on the ground for a split second, and you take that opportunity. It's the balancing of these waves of enemies and how easy it is to learn to actually kind of do this, but then you will just like lose your momentum for like 5 seconds. You'll take 5 or 6 hits and you'll die, and it's like fuck. But you'll come back last checkpoint, not too far usually, and you'll go, and all of a sudden you'll be like, all right, now I know what I need to do. That flying enemy can shoot. I got to make sure that I actually focus on that enemy a little earlier or something like that, instead of, you know, focusing on the guys on the ground because they're just melee and they can't hit me from a distance. And it's just so much fun to actually play this. It's not like Game of the Year or breaking any crazy things or anything like that. I actually didn't really play the Shinobi games on Sega Genesis because they were ridiculously hard, to the point that I didn't enjoy them. But I am loving this one. It's making me so excited to go and play the Ninja Gaiden Ragebound one after, because they actually had a bundle too on Steam, which I wasn't expecting, where you could actually pick up both of them for like a extra slight discount. I guess they both know, like, hey, let's, you know, we're both releasing this within months of each other. Let's do it.
Yeah, I haven't gotten around to Shinobi yet, but Ninja Gaiden I can say is really fucking good too. So if you like this game, you're gonna very much like Ninja Gaiden.
I think honestly the visuals are like quite impressive. Like that's what I keep staring at, like how good this looks.
Yeah, it looks hand drawn, and it's got like little cutscenes, but again, they're all like more like manga, if anything, like hand drawn, comic book looking ish. It's a Sega game, so naturally when you're in the city, you'll see like a Sega logo on a billboard for no reason, just because Sega does that in so many of their games, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, the music is very, very catchy. It also has like 5 main areas, and like the first area has only 1 level. The second area has 2 levels, and I think each level area after that has 3 or 4 levels. So you have to do multiple of them before you move on to the next area. And between each major stage, they kind of have like a filler level, which will be like you on the back of a wolf dog, on an automatic scroller where you're just moving forward no matter what, kind of like Battletoads, where they'd have like you on like the hover motorcycles or whatever it was. So they even do break up the gameplay a little bit, and it's kind of Metroidvania-y, where the map does open up. You get more power-ups like a grappling hook and stuff throughout the game, and you can go back to the previous maps and actually let you know, like, hey, there's 5 coins you can collect that are collectibles. There's 3, they're called like elite battles, where it's basically just waves of enemies that you have to fight, and if you fight all 3 of them in one level, you get a big power-up, like your sword will become like a flame sword or something like that. There's a rift in each level, which takes you to a huge wave of enemies, and when you beat them, you get 3 treasure chests. Like, there's like all this stuff you can do that you don't need to do, but you can go back and like grab it in levels, because you can always return to a level. And all the checkpoints in it are fast travel points, which you can go to at any point, which is nice. So think Super Metroid, but you can just fast travel to another area, like another save point. So you can't fast travel just anywhere. It has to be one of the save points, but still, they're like frequent enough that you can actually go back to the map and, you know, find some stuff that you missed when going through the level the first time, because 1, you didn't think to go that way. 2, you didn't have the necessary item to be able to go that way. And it's pretty stereotypical stuff. You get claws to climb walls. You get a grappling hook that you can use to get to higher places, blah, 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 blah. You unlock, I think, like a double wall jump kind of idea. Like, there's so many things that unlock that it gives you good reason to go back to levels, too, which is pretty nice. Yeah. Highly, highly suggest this game. It's a little expensive for what it is. It was like 40-something Canadian. But, I mean, I do not regret my purchase. And I actually got the digital deluxe version that included the DLC, because they're having a Sega Villains DLC, like Boss Rush kind of thing, I think, that comes out after. So Dr. Robotnik from Sonic is going to be the first like villain boss that you get, and the bosses are so cool in this game. They're like one of those types of bosses that are like huge guys, or like take up like half the screen while you're just this like little guy, and it's like, figure it out, don't die. So I can't wait till it's like Dr. Eggman or Dr. Robotnik, because it'll probably be some massive, assuming it's going to be like the Sonic 2 like Death Egg robot or something, and you're going to have to like take it out or something, which is going to be so fun. Yeah, and I have no idea what the other villains will be, but I'm hoping for like a Yakuza reference or something. I don't know what the other ones will be. It'll be so cool. There's so much cool stuff they could do with this, because it's Sega, right?
That sounds awesome. Yeah, you're kind of selling me on this.
Yeah, so much fun. Like, if you're not going to play it right away, like a sale would probably be good, because
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for
$44 or something it is a fair bit. Like I caved because how desperately I was like wanting to play it. And I didn't need to grab it yet, but I mean, I'm already playing it. I couldn't wait, like even with Yote. But yeah, like maybe wait for a sale. Not because it's not a good game. It's just it is a little bit expensive for very similar games that are priced probably at half of what that is. But yeah, if you pick this up at $20 or $30, like you would not regret it at all, and you would get so much fun and time out of it. It's so good. But yeah.
All right, well, unless there's anything else people have to say for player, I think it's time for us to move on to the meat and potatoes.
I love meat and potatoes.
Well, apparently so does Sony, because they are starting to construct their new feast for us, because PS6 is starting to be shown up. Digital Foundry, I know, did a little bit of a expose on what the console could be looking like. I'm not going to get into, well, I guess the meat and potatoes of what that console could be, because it's all speculation at this point. Doesn't really matter, because I don't think we're not exactly the most tech savvy guys for that anyway. And realistically, like it make graphics go good and go faster. Like that's really what it's going to be. So I don't think it really matters all that much in the end. The real question though is, well, the rumor is 2027 is when they're starting to look to get these suckers in production. So we could be looking at something in the next 2 to 3 years, which, granted, the PS5 has been around for about the number of years that you'd expect to see a new console starting to get talked about. So it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility. I've seen a lot of people talk about how like it's too soon, to which I go, no, it's about the normal time frame actually. So it's not really...
Yeah, when you think of it on paper, yeah.
It's not really that abnormal. But the ultimate question for this generation is, has this been long enough for this generation specifically for there to be a new console generation starting? Now, let's take Nintendo Switch out of it because Nintendo's on their own weird timetable. But like, when we look at PlayStation and Xbox as the prime examples here, is it too soon for a new console to be talked about, or is this about the time that it makes sense to?
Chris,
I'm not going to...
first.
All right, I'll go first. Yeah, it's way too soon. It just feels way too soon because all the other generations, like I think back to like Nintendo 64, it only existed for 6 years before the GameCube showed up, right? Like I think the Super Nintendo even to Nintendo 64 was only 5 or 6 years. Like the consoles back then, it was so much quicker before a new piece of hardware came out, and the difference in that hardware was astounding, right? You look at a Super Nintendo to a Nintendo 64, even a Nintendo 64 to a GameCube, they're huge step ups. Whereas, you know, even going from PS4 to PS5 or Xbox One to Xbox Series, you know, definitely didn't feel like that huge jump. And that's, you know, because one, it's really hard to actually have that kind of jump in graphics and stuff as much. But also, there was a lot of cross-gen stuff. And I think that that's actually kind of my issue here is that, one, a lot of what we got was cross-gen. A lot of what we got was remasters of last gen, just running on new hardware, where it's like, hey, pay $15 and you get, you know, the new, like Last of Us Part 2 remastered. Here's Horizon Zero Dawn remastered. Here's Days Gone remastered. Here is Spider-Man remastered. Here is, like, everything was freaking remastered. I think the only game that didn't get a remaster was God of War, and that's because they gave that free 60 FPS update, like, right when the PS5 launched. So it's been like a lot of that. And then when you actually look at the game releases for the PlayStation and the Xbox, it's like they're not, you know, equivalent one for one. Xbox had very few releases for a while, and it only finally feels like now, 5 years into their console, basically, that they were starting to release first-party stuff. And then there's Sony, who at maybe the very, very beginning, it was like, here's 3 games for launch or close to launch. But then after that, it's trickled out so slowly that it still feels like we're waiting for like the whole generation to come out. It's like, I don't know, you got a bag filled with water and you've poked a hole in it and the water's leaking out, but like you're waiting for all of it to just kind of get here, you know? I looked at how many games, first party games, PS5 has had, and it's like 14. I took out remasters, like I'm not counting Horizon Zero Dawn remastered as like a new game release.
Do you count Dark Souls?
I did count Dark Souls because
Remake
so
versus
I kept,
remaster would also be slightly different too.
I'm just clarifying.
Yes, I kept remakes, so I even left Last of Us Part 1 remake, which was a little iffy for me. But I didn't count any PS4 remakes, or sorry, remasters, because again, you can already play those on the console, and all they did was like up the settings slightly. Dark Souls, I think, was a PS3 game, right? That's why I kept that.
You're
one
thinking
in, 'cause
Demon
it's
Souls
actually
as well, by the way.
Oh, Demon Souls, that's what it was. Yes. So I kept that in, but that's 14 games, right? And a bunch of those, I think it was like 4 or 5 or 6 of them were actually cross-gen, and that's over 5 years. That's only 2.8 games per year, which is a lot less than every other generation. Like if you look at a PS3 generation or a PS2 generation, all of those consoles have trilogies. You have the Uncharted trilogy, the Sly Cooper trilogy, the Jak and Daxter trilogy. Like there's so many games that came out on those consoles, and we're not getting that now. So it's kind of like you pay this money and you wait 5 years to just every like 2.8 games a year, even if you say that's 3, that means like you get a game once every 4 months. Now, obviously there's third party and there's all this other stuff. But the bread and butter of these consoles have always been their first party, at least to me. And I think that's why I feel this way. Because if I went third party, yeah, sure. I got a ton of different Borderlands games even probably that just came out. Like there's stuff that would have been exciting, I guess, and I could play. But when it comes to that first party, like that Sony feeling, that Xbox feeling, the feeling you get when you play like a Nintendo game, right? Like how many Mario games came out on Nintendo consoles and Donkey Kongs and stuff like that determines how well they did, not how well it ran The Witcher 3. Because again, that's not why people buy a Switch. So for me, it just feels like there's not enough games yet that came out compared to previous generations to like actually feel like I've gotten what I was hoping for out of this. Like, especially as somebody who went to PC for the entire Xbox One and PS4 generation, I was like excited to get back into consoles. I thought there would be more, right? And it just feels like we're not there yet. Like we're just only now getting started in a way.
Yeah, like that was going to be my biggest argument is that as far as I'm concerned from a gamer's perspective, we are halfway through this cycle at best. Because the reality is and to the industry's fault, games take so much more time to produce that there actually hasn't been that much of a catalog on these consoles. Now, if we're just looking at consoles in the same way that we look at PCs, okay, sure, I guess you can sort of make an argument that, well, the life cycle's coming up, but consoles have never been that before. So for just an average gamer, this is looking like a console that's been around for 2 years, in all honesty. Like, that's kind of what the PS5 has felt like, or the Xbox Series X has felt like. It's felt like a console that just finished getting its main launch releases out. Because really, there hasn't been, like, if we ended this generation in 2 more years, let's say 2027 is the last, like, year before the PS6 is coming out. If we take this entire life cycle, are we able to name like top 10 first party easily? I don't think we can.
Yeah.
Because there's
like just
you'd have
console?
to like look up a list to kind of pull some out because you're like, they haven't had like a de facto like here's the big ones that we're gonna like. I don't even know what first party title I would say I remember this console the most for. I guess it's Astrobot, but like. Is that the game you want to say is the biggest thing about this generation? Not to take any shots at Astrobot. I'm just more going like, it wasn't remembered for pushing the console at all. It's just remembered for being, honestly, nostalgia.
Yeah, I think for me, like the one game that is most iconic, like when I think of my PS5 experience, like the most iconic one for me, or the biggest one is Deathloop, and that's not even a Sony first party game. I feel like the Sony first parties have been kind of lackluster. Not to say bad, but just too safe and like not as interesting. Like I feel like with the PS4, we had new IPs, we had things that were doing things differently, right? Like we had Uncharted, but it felt different, right? Uncharted went from a linear point A to point B to hey, there's a little bit of traversal. Like we got is it Lost Legacy No, not Last. What's the one where they where it's not even not Drake, but it's like Chloe and Nadine? Or
Yeah, it's Lost Legacy.
I think it
Lost
Lost Legacy. Yeah.
Like, we're getting new things like that. We got Ghost of Tsushima. Even Infamous Infamous Second Son felt different from the original two. So like this one though doesn't have it. It's like, oh hey, we got more God of War. We got more Horizon. We got more Ghost of Tsushima. There wasn't anything where it's like, hey, we've taken these IP and we've put it in a new direction. Or similarly, hey, we have new IP. Like, I don't know, like, if there's any IP that Sony has created this generation. Like,
apart from Astro, which is more of a
but
rehash
Astrobot's
of something
from
like
PS4.
that's yeah. But what I mean, like them coming to the forefront out of VR,
Sure.
with Playroom and now Astrobot.
But I mean, like, the only ones I can think of is Astrobot and Destruction All-Stars.
Yeah, Destruction All-Stars. Returnal, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
realistically, the quote unquote de facto titles on this console is Astrobot, and then a bunch of sequels.
Yeah.
Yes.
And safe sequels, like
safe.
Yeah, like
yes.
Ragnarok, Forbidden West, Spider-Man 2.
And they've all felt like, personally, they've all felt like step downs, right? Like, I would rather play God of War 2018 over Ragnarok. I'd rather play Zero Dawn over Forbidden West. I'd rather play Spider-Man 1 over Spider-Man 2, right? Like, none of them have been better iterations. It's just been, it's iterating, but it's like, I don't feel like they don't capture the same magic.
Like, this feels like
For me,
this
though,
generation as a whole is going to be like the generation that was basically spent with safety and also really poor business decisions.
Well, I think like part of it is we've talked about this, and it's not necessarily a PS5 issue, but a game industry issue in that it's expensive to make a game and they don't want to take risks. But what I'm thinking is like,
There's such a simple solution to that problem too.
Well, I feel like we're moving to the PS6 for the sake of checking a box. I mean, we have a PS5 Pro. And I don't even feel like that's even utilized, right? Like, I don't feel like I'm missing out by not having a PS5 Pro. So what is the necessity of moving to a PS6, right?
Giving companies money, honestly.
Sure. Yeah. Sure, but like we've always said that consoles aren't money makers. They're usually a net, like they are a loss leader, right? You buy it so that people go in and buy from the ecosystem.
I don't know. I'm kind of in the part of my brain going, well, Sony's probably stupid enough they'd charge $1,000 for a console this time.
Probably, but this is the thing, like the consoles could be more expensive because you're getting more high-end equipment, but like we are at a point where it's not necessity to switch over to a new console. We're not using the full utilization of the PS5, right? And
I don't even think we need to, honestly.
But what's the I'm not in the PC world, so correct me if I'm wrong, but like what developments have happened in the PC world that need to be transferred and brought over to PS6? Because we're not at the point yet where we're getting this feels like a continuation of the PS4 Pro. I still don't have a situation where I can have 60 frames and 4K. Like, I feel like that was a promise of the PS4, is that you wouldn't have to choose those modes. And I'm still choosing those modes, let alone if I want ray tracing. So, like, is that what I'm paying for this time? They promise that they're going to be able to do all three at the same time? I don't know. Like, it doesn't feel like there's been this technological advancement that we need to get rid of our PS5s and get PS6. And then have developers start all over learning how to develop for these new consoles, right? If your argument is that games are expensive to make, I would imagine that you're going to actually save money the longer you stay on the PS5. It's going to become easier and easier to develop for it. You're going to become familiar with the technology and the capabilities. But we're at a point where we've gone a whole console generation without a Naughty Dog game, right? If you think of the PS3, we had the entire
There's a legit chance that their new game is going to be out by the time this new console's out.
Right? Right? Like, that's the thing. Like, in the PS3, we had 4 Naughty Dog games. In the PS2, we had 1 game. And in the PS5, we're going to have maybe 1 game? No, wait, we had 2 games on the PS4.
Let me go pull up Naughty Dog.
We had Uncharted 4, Lost Legacy.
And Last of Us 2, and Lost Legacy.
And
and 3 games there.
Last of Us 2. Yeah, 3 actually.
And then this console, we have none from Naughty Dog. Now, granted, like, Jim Ryan kind of screwed everything up with his live service initiative. Like, there's something to be said there. Pandemic also affected it. But, like, why? Why are we moving? And I've not seen a compelling case yet why we need to move to the PS6. Now, granted, Sony's marketing, that's what the marketing team is for, is to tell me why we need to move there. But I don't look at the PC market and say, man, I really wish we could do that on my console. Like,
Yeah, the only thing in PC that's advanced is ray tracing and upscaling technologies like FSR 4 versus FSR 2, which is basically what the Xbox and PS5 use. So the upscaling looks nicer because the consoles can't even actually run the games at the resolution they're saying 4K and stuff. It's more like 1080p upscaled to 4K, and the upscaler they currently use isn't the nicest looking. But like, again, do you need a whole new console just to fix the upscaler instead of just learn to develop for the already out console, which then you won't need as much upscaling because you've learned how to develop for it. Like, if you look at Ghost of Yotei,
yeah.
perfect example. Looks great. It's not needing all that upscaling technology, has great lighting, blah, 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 right?
Well, this comes like to the PS5 Pro commercial when they're like, hey, look at this. And they had to like zoom in to the foreground to like show us an upscale. Like, what are you going to show us with the PS6? Like,
The same thing.
And like realistically
Yeah,
too,
we're
like a
getting
lot
to
of
the
that
point, like-
texture stuff, like you have to be such a stickler for shit to really care. Like when I said I was playing Trails and I put a 4K mod for textures on there, did I really notice it by the time I was playing the game? No. I really
Yeah.
wasn't paying that much attention. So like, in the end, it doesn't really matter. Just to follow up on the Naughty Dog stuff. Interestingly, I'll start from PlayStation and work my way up. PlayStation original was 4 games. 3 Crash games and Crash Team Racing. PlayStation 2, 4 games. 3 Jack Racing game. Interesting how both of those consoles had a trilogy and a racer. Very funny. Fortunately, Uncharted did not have a racing game in PlayStation 3. But they also had 4 games. 3 Uncharted and The Last of Us. And then you get to 4, you get Uncharted 4, Lost Legacy, and Last of Us Part 2. 5 has not had a proper full release yet. Assuming Intergalactic does come out before that, then that will be its 1.
but yeah, and once again, is Intergalactic going to be a PS5 exclusive?
Well,
No, it'll be
I'm
I
imagining
think
it's
it'll be a
currently
6th
being
launch
made
title.
for it, but there is a very significant chance that it might not be out until this PS6 is basically in development, and they're already working on like a patch for it there, the way that like say a God of War Ragnarok got its.
Well,
or God of
I don't
War,
know
I
if
should
that's
say.
the case because if you think about it, like Wolverine, when does Wolverine come out? Like,
Next year.
Next
Should be the fall.
yeah, but when?
The fall. They did say fall in the trailer, which likely
So
means
fall.
October.
So they're gonna put Wolverine and Intergalactic out in the same time.
I don't think Intergalactic's 2026.
So then
No.
Intergalactic's 2027.
That's why I was wondering the question: is there a less than zero chance or a more than zero chance that it comes out by the time the PS6 is announced and dated even?
Yeah. Yeah, like I think it'll be a Miles Morales situation where it releases as a launch title and on PS5 kind of idea.
And then this raises the question of like, is the PS6 going to be exclusive games, or are we going to have the situation with the PS5 where, for the next 2-3 years after the PS6 gets released, you're just going to be having it's going to be releasing PS6 games on the PS5.
I think it's kind of the downside of like this industry that we're in now with like PC games being the same way. Like PC has to be made for several generations of graphics cards. I think unfortunately like we're going to be in this weird bottleneck where for half of a console's life cycle from now on, it's going to be in conjunction with the console previous because, well, people are fucking poor and we can't afford $1,000 to buy a new console right now. So like,
yeah.
But I guess what I'm arguing is that if they waited, let's say they did the unprecedented thing and said, you know what, we don't need a new console right now. Like, you know, technology, like the technology is kind of slowed down. We're not getting, which is weird to say because technology never slows down, but like we've not seen the graphical need to move to the next generation of hardware. We're going to be able to keep this hardware going for a certain amount of time. We're going to recuperate our cost because as the technology goes like down, the cost to build it, like don't get a price drop on the PS5. Just be like, hey, we're now making more margin on our product, and then the technology for the PS6, you know, will get cheaper as well because you don't need to have the most cutting edge stuff. Or it's just by that time you have such an amazing library that people are like, yeah, I'm ready to move on now.
well, if we're playing devil's advocate, sure, it'd be great if they did that, but like that's not how people in an executive boardroom ever work. So
No, but I'm making the argument for them. Like, this is how you guys make.
this is
money,
how they
right?
should do it, but also somebody that doesn't understand the industry at all is just going to sit there and be like, well, usually on average it's 7 years between cycles, so let's go.
Yeah, I guess like I'm just saying, like this is the stage where I feel you make your profit and you're cutting it short to go back into the expensive, learning and developing for a new console and a new ecosystem.
Well, to be fair, there's no profit to be made if you're Sony because you're still trying to figure out where $400 million comes from now.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality of this also generation, too, has just been a case of, like I said, really poor business decisions that have put them in the hole so badly because they chased dollars that weren't there for them. And, we've said this before in so many different ways. But this, to relate to this generation, it will not get better until the industry changes the way that it makes games. Because the problem is every game is chasing the 40, 60-hour epic with the highest of high-quality graphics. Fucking stop. Not every game is going to be GTA 6. Okay, guys? Sometimes you gotta make a really good 10-hour game. That costs you a fifth of the budget you're doing for these games.
Yeah, like a Ninja Gaiden whatever I was just talking about at the opening of the podcast. Like those kind of games, but first party.
Like if it takes you, in some cases, 8 years to make a game that you're going to charge full price for, what if instead you made 3 games in the span of 8 years and charged $40? So instead of a $90 game, you've now made 3 $40 games, and there's $120 if they're all solid games.
Yeah.
But that's not what people in a boardroom see. They see whatever Call of Duty does. They see whatever Elder Scrolls does. They see what Fortnite does, and they go, those are the only options. They don't look at what Steam does with, say, some of those really, like a Hades 2. They don't look at games like that and go, that looks like a good model. They just go, what's the highest possible option? It's like how it's like how DC looked straight up at the MCU and went, that's what we should do, instead of going, what can we do differently?
Yeah. Which is wild because you'll take a company like Sega, and I get they don't make hardware anymore, but Sega's put out a Yakuza game this year. They've announced another one that's coming out. They put out Sonic Racing, a remaster of Sonic Generations and some Shadow the Hedgehog thing, and this Shinobi game that I was talking about. And that's all just Sega. I don't know how many developers they have. Obviously, we don't look into a company like Sega as much as we do Sony these days. But that's like 5 first-party titles that Sega has put out this year alone. Some of them are remasters. Some of them are 2D Metroidvania, just throwbacks to old 90s games. One's a racing game, and another one's like this open world-ish Yakuza series, right? Like there's so many different games that other developers are putting out, and they're making freaking bank off of some of this. Like maybe not Sega, because I don't know how popular they are, but if Sony had a similar thing where this year and they had 5 games come out, everybody would be praising them. In fact, Microsoft proved that by earlier this year having Avowed and Doom and frickin' whatever the heck they had come out. There were so many things that came out in like 2 or 3 months. But Microsoft had so much stuff come out, and now, they did all their other business decisions around it, which is also a problem in our industry, right? Because, God, you get the momentum and then you just go with all your other dumb shit, because when you think about it, while Sony's doing their problems this generation, Microsoft is kind of pulling a Disney, and instead of creating their own IPs or creating their new games, their focus was buying already existing IP and just trying to move it into their ecosystem, which obviously didn't work for them either. And we couldn't even get more than 1 game a year from Microsoft, and they weren't even up to par with Halo and everything that they released that was not great.
To really push the point home, you talked about Sega and Yakuza. If I'm being technical here, if I count Lost Judgment, the sequel to Judgment, which is made by the same studio and is kind of sort of a Yakuza game, just in a different detective sort of vibe, they've released 5 separate games in that series from that studio in the span of this generation.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
One series.
It's not actually that hard to do. And what they do effectively well is they take assets that they've already built and keep using them. It's why Trails Trails almost had 3 games this year. They almost managed to put 3 games out in the same year, because they understand that you don't have to keep making games from scratch in the highest quality engine and completely try to change the foundation of graphic fidelity in gaming every single time. They realize that if we have a solid foundation, we keep building on that and just keep making our games better. And that's the solution. But again, when you're apparently the biggest companies in the world, you have to look at what the other biggest companies in the world are doing. They probably looked at Cyberpunk and went, well, we have to beat that now. No, you don't. No, you don't.
This, like, yeah, I've been just looking on my phone here and, like, looking at it, like, there is not a necessary correlation of, like, graphical fidelity and performance and sales, right? Like, because I was looking at it, and Breath of the Wild, or Tears of the Kingdom, the second one, I went with the longest one, so it has the most recent one, so it has a shorter sale time. And that thing sold, like, 20-some-odd million copies, right? Granted, it's Legend of Zelda, it's got that benefit, but, like, it's not a pretty game. Like, Tears of the Kingdom, shut up, I know you're yelling in the comments, Tears of the Kingdom's gorgeous. It's not. Get over yourself. But
its art style is pretty, but
artistic,
it is not graphic.
Yeah,
yeah,
but graphical fidelity, it's not. The best-selling game on PlayStation, according to Wikipedia, so come at me with sources, but, like, is Marvel's Spider-Man 2, selling at 11 million games. So that's a graphically impressive-looking game, and it's only been able to sell 11 million, and it's getting dunked on by Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. The next two are Black Myth Wukong at 5 million, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart at 3.97 million. So, like, realism doesn't sell anything, and so I've been advocating that, like, what we don't need Powerhouse, we don't need,
you can have one or two, but, like,
yeah,
like, everything shouldn't be chasing that. Like, Interstellar is chasing that again, and, like, sure, could the game be really good? I would expect so, because it's Naughty Dog, but, like, they don't have to do this every time. Like, you have some, like, how many studios do these guys have right now, and you have none of them that are making something relatively small and going and, like, quickly going out there. Like, we've been complaining for the last, like, 2 years that they haven't been releasing anything.
Yeah.
And their solution to that problem as well, if we just put a bunch of live service games out, that'll be the solution. And it's like, no, those take time, and you're chasing trends again. So it's like, it's a case of with this because we keep picking on Sony right now because, well, let's be honest, we picked on Xbox for a whole episode last week. But, like, the generation as a whole has been a constant case of first-party developers for consoles do not know how to fucking make a game. And there used to be a time, too, where, like, exclusives were not just first-party. And, like, that doesn't exist anymore. So, like, the exclusive tag for a video game now is first-party. That's all it is. And the problem with that is they don't make anything. So what's the point of your console? No wonder, like, as a guy who now has a good PC, when the PS6 gets announced, I don't give a shit for at least 2 years. Unless the price of this thing is so absurdly, like, insanely well priced that I go, all right, fine, you know what? That might actually be worth it. We'll see what happens. But, like, unless, like, there is such an amazing game that is locked behind that console that I have to play, and if it's on Xbox, that won't be a problem because it'll be on PC. But, like, for PS6, there's no, like, I don't know what they could announce with this new console that would make me go, okay, I have to buy this within the first 12 months of its life cycle. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel either on that, but, like, I mean, I'm sure, like, one of you will cave because you gotta, Chris.
Oh, I'm kidding.
Oh, me too. 100%. Me too.
If it's a decent, like, I mean, if it's $1,700 for PS6, I'm gonna go, okay, wait, hang on, what the fuck is happening?
But $1,600, maybe. No.
But if it's $16.99, no. But if it's, like, you know, a decent whatever hundreds of dollars,
like, let's say
price,
it's slightly above the Switch 2. Like, let's say it's $800.
yeah. If it's $800 and has, like, a couple good first party exclusives, I won't be, like, if they're decent.
If I can get a good trade-in value for my
later.
PS5, maybe.
Yeah. They do come to PC later, but that usually takes a year. I have a feeling Sony's going to back off on the whole PC thing because the rumor is the next Xbox is going to just be a PC. Technically, you'll be able to play all the PlayStation games on Steam on your Xbox. I don't think Sony wants that. I think they're going to pull back a bit, but I don't know. That's all me just theory, you know, tinfoil hat. But yeah, I will cave. And I know Kaylan will too, just like
100%.
we did with Switch too.
100%.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to each other at the midnight launch, like amen.
But, like, even if some of us cave, we're still gonna be talking about how, like, pointless it like this console is the first 2 years.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I want, like, I see a double-edged sword because, like, on the one hand, I'm like, Sony, why would you want to make a PS6? Like, you're winning right now. Like, you're on top with the PS5. Like, you don't have to move. Like, you're good.
Like, you can start thinking about the architecture for it, but like, you are in no rush to build this thing.
But at the same time, I wonder if Sony is gun shy because of when it waited to release the PS3, like a year after the Xbox 360, and how much they lost ground there, and that might be something that spooks them. And maybe that changed the industry where it's like, oh, hey, we need to be the first ones out now.
If there was any time right now, if I was Sony to be like stupidly overconfident, I think this would be the time.
Yeah. I think it's also kind of telling that like Microsoft had their little trailer of we are working with AMD on our new console, new architecture, AMD, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, here we are 3 weeks or whatever later, Sony's sitting with AMD, like, we are working with AMD on things. It's like, okay, you guys are just following each other. We get it. One of you did it. Now the other one's got to do it. And I know why. I understand Xbox, because Xbox has fucked this so hard, and they every 3 weeks change their mind, and they're like, you know what? What if we just sell, like, we open a fish market and just call it Xbox? Like, let's do something random and different.
The next consoles we called the X-Sphere.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Holy crap.
X-Sphere Series 1.
No, they're just going to call it the Xbox again.
They probably will. It'll just be called Xbox and then put the year in brackets after it. But like they want to jump and start on their new talk because it's like, fuck, we've lost this one. It's over. We put games on other consoles. They're on PC day one. We're fucking up Game Pass. Like, we're losing. Costco's removing all our consoles. So they're kind of like, all right, we got to maybe talk about next gen. We got to get people excited about what we're going to do different. You know, maybe they're going to announce it's a PC and stuff, like their handhelds, and it's going to be changing the game, and like it'll get people excited. And then Sony's got no choice but to follow suit because, again, they're afraid of what happened with the PS3 generation, like you said, Kaylan. So it's almost like it's moving because it's like two people holding the, like, you know, win the game button, but it's like both of you don't hit this button and you'll both be okay. If one of you presses the button, then it starts the whole new thing, and then maybe you'll be able to go to the next gen and make some more money. And they both can't just sit there and not hit the button because one of them's going to do it.
Yep.
Because like the honest point is a whole here, and I mean, if you're a PC gamer, it's a whole different ballgame for you because it's ever changing. But like next gen console in this current generation makes zero sense to even be talking about right now. There is not the catalog to justify it, and if the industry itself goes, well, it's been long enough that we have to make the upgrade, then the only thing we can do is point the fingers back and go, that's a problem you created.
The only thing I can see them coming out is like trying to leverage and argue AI in the console. And honestly, if I hear it, like, I'm gonna hear AI in the console and I'm just gonna throw up in my mouth a little bit. Like,
oh yeah.
Ugh. If I hear AI with the PS6, I'm more than content with patting this big, you know, beautiful sucker PC that I have now and being like, yeah, no, I can just stick with this for a little while. I think I don't need to worry about
which will have Microsoft Copilot as your main friend that talks to you as you game. It's everywhere.
But can they?
It's crazy.
But can as long as I got mods so that I can turn something into Thomas the Tank Engine, Chris, I'm okay.
Oh, there'll be somebody who just deletes Copilot off the computer. Some guy will be like, "Hey, here's a version
and replaces
of Windows
it with Thomas the Tank Engine."
I want someone to take Copilot and put Clippy, so Clippy is now the face of Copilot.
Yeah, like how do you have Clippy and then you had Cortana? I think was the AI that they used for a while on Windows 2. Mm-hmm. Now they've just got Copilot, and it's like, what the hell is this? Is this like a reference to Microsoft Flight Simulator? Because you had two of those this generation. Somehow.
So Microsoft Copilot's coming to PlayStation as well. Then, all right, got it.
Great.
I mean,
what's crazy?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead.
I insist.
What's crazy about this is I had mentioned that, like, Nintendo, again, it was like from N64 to GameCube, blah 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 blah. How long did Nintendo ride out that Switch? They did not announce the Switch 2 until the Switch 1 was 8 fucking years old. They announced it this year, only months before they actually released it.
I mean, it was easy for them to do that when there was no competition.
No, I know, but like, that technology was old. Like running a game on the Switch was rough when the thing launched. It felt old, and people wouldn't have been like, all right, you know what? We haven't gotten our generation yet. When Switch 2 was finally announced, people were like, finally.
Yeah, like,
holy crap.
It's chugging. Whereas,
are we talking about the same
down.
people that like the day before prior being like, they don't need to have a Switch 2, the console's fine.
Nobody runs Hollow
and then
Knight
finally admitting as soon as he announced it, like, thank God.
No one was defending Switch 1 when the Switch 2 was coming.
Yeah, I think they were like, no, we're ready. Please, just please. But again, no one was upset because how many freaking Nintendo games, for all of their faults and their overpriced pricing crap, like they've got like 15 first-party games that release per year or something, and they're all over the board. They're not all of them are for everybody, but like there's so many different ones being released. They're hitting different
niches, whereas Sony's like, we're just gonna chase basically like the Game of the Year clout, where we just want to have the big open world game that everyone's gonna love.
Yeah, we just need somebody who feels a bit of tragedy in an open world and then goes and deals with it alone. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And there's fast travel points.
Basically, the PlayStation game design is tragic character, overcoming like getting revenge on blank in time period or setting. So
while mentoring.
That's the PlayStation thing. Yeah.
It's like, no, The Last of Us is different. Yeah, because that setting is like an apocalypse in the past 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The only toggle they have is like father figure or not father figure.
Yeah.
Pseudo father figure.
Oh, and then there's Microsoft, and they press the panic button and put out a new flight simulator because they've closed all the other studios that they bought, or I don't know.
I was gonna say their panic button was, let's close 3 more studios. That'll solve the problem.
Yeah, I think the bill for that $69 billion deal came in, and they were like, oh, we had to pay this. Redfall did not do what we thought it was. Redfall was supposed to sell $69 billion worth of...
See, if they had just built Concord instead of Sony, it might have been fine.
Yep, that's exactly the solution. Do everything the same, but have Concord release on the other system.
I don't think you understand how
apart.
half correct I actually am with what the industry is currently.
Honestly, people would have welcomed it on Xbox. They were like, finally, something to play. Oh, God, what a generation. This has been interesting.
Now that I have a gaming PC, I genuinely don't even know what I consider to be the best moment of this generation anymore, because I'm not even paying attention to what consoles are doing.
It's tough. It is tough because the consoles came out and they were swinging. You know, the Xbox had its features it was announcing, backwards compatibility with FPS boost.
Like, it was
Sony
really exciting because
had,
we're like, oh my God, we're finally going to have consoles doing 60 frames per second consistently.
Yeah, and the 60 FPS hype was real. The box for this PS5 said 8K. 120 frames per second. That's wild. I'm still waiting for a single game that does any of that. But yeah, like the hype was so real, and then it just whomped.
It's okay.
Like,
we've had a glorified space heater and a glorified fridge. So
yeah, I mean, Game Pass was great for a while, but that's a whole other podcast that we already did. Go watch that.
Guys, are we becoming grumpy old men?
We are grumpy old men.
I was going to say becoming.
Yeah, I blame TikTok.
I've
Honestly,
lost all my hair already because of this industry.
I don't know. I think that Microsoft should just announce another Minecraft movie. Oh, wait. I think it already did. And then there we go. It's all fixed.
You know, the real solution is a live service game.
That's it. That's where it was.
What if they just made made your console a streaming media center?
Yeah, can we watch ESPN on it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Why don't we do that and force it? Like, force that purchase. That's included.
And then we'll close 3 more studios and it'll be fine.
Guys, we're game console developers now at this point. Like, let's
100%.
shut this down.
You know what? Also, like, being able to use discs, I think that once you buy a disc, it's locked to that account forever and you can't, like, trade it back in used. That's a good idea, too. Boom.
Like, Chris, you jokingly talked about how Sega doesn't make consoles anymore. If Sega made a console again and was like, here, we're just going to make this, like, basic, like cheap version of the PS4 Pro level, and we're going to charge, like, $400 for it, and we're just going to produce a bunch of, like, simple games for it, I don't think it'd do that badly.
Yeah. No. I think people would be like, you know what, I'm going to have this as my side console.
Yeah.
Here's Crazy Taxi and Sonic Racing and a Sonic Generations remaster and a Yakuza and a Shinobi game and a blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I think it would. This is their time. That's why this generation has been bad. We're waiting for the Dreamcast 2. It's coming. I will say, though, that this generation,
The teamwork makes the Dreamcast work.
Indie's been good.
Yeah. We'll have to see about the PS6 when it comes out. I mean, I bitch and complain, but I'll probably buy it.
I mean, by the time that the announcement comes out, we'll have a better chance of looking at it. It's just at the moment right now, the prospect of it just, it A, doesn't make any sense, and B,
no,
it's not leaving a great taste in our mouth knowing how honestly pathetic this generation's library has been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it makes me worry they're going to stop making or prioritizing making first-party games for the PS5 because now they're going to shift focus to PS6. And it's like, we're still here. We're still trying to use this thing.
Like
it's not.
You know what? I think I figured out what the problem is, and like we've been kind of circling around it. But the problem is like typically our generations have been in a thing where there's like an onboard period where games are slow to come out, and then we hit a stride where it's like they figured out how to make games, and that's when you start getting game after game after game after game, and then it sunsets. And we missed that middle part where we were getting that buffet of games. It went from a slow trickle as we transitioned to this console to now we're sunsetting this console. And there's not been that.
Who knows? Maybe we actually would have had that period, but
Cylinders.
Jim Ryan was like, yeah, but they all need to be live service in order for this to make any sense.
Maybe, but that's not my problem. That's PlayStation's problem. They need to figure that out.
Yeah, that's their problem. You're right, Kaylan. And at that same point, when games would start to get their stride, also the player base would like go up like crazy because the console would get a huge discount. It would go from like a $500 or $600 console to like a $300 console. Like,
You get those
I remember when the
Black Friday
PS4, PS4 went down to like $299 or something, and it used to be like $499 or something. Like it was. Like, all of a sudden, you'd hit that stride, and a whole bunch of new players would come in, so the games would also sell like crazy, and that's when, you know, Microsoft or Sony or whatever would, like, make a ton of money. And I think that they kind of screwed themselves out of that part of the cycle.
I think legitimately that the only way that the next generation, well, quote-unquote next generation, I don't even know what we call it now that everything's all out of whack with the timing on some of these consoles and everything else, the industry needs to change. Like, we've said this before, but like live service cannot continue as is. It can be a 1 or 2 in your entire library of 20 games, but you cannot be consistently making them, because if all you're going to make are games that people are going to stay with, how do you expect to make money on the next thing you release? You have to stagger it. Now, granted, it's not just AAA studios. It's everybody's trying to capitalize on that. But like, you're in control of your own destiny if you're Sony, if you're Microsoft. You didn't need to make 10 live service games. You could have made 1. And instead of Last of Us being canceled, instead of Concord being pulled immediately, instead of this God of War thing that apparently they were thinking about, and potentially a Horizon one, in all of this talk of all of these games that have been coming out, that could have been coming out, you could have released like 5 games at this point.
Or another VR headset. Oh, wait.
Like, you know what? Even the
Yeah,
VR, I say, is not the worst decision, because at least it's pushing tech. Like, it's trying to upgrade tech to better spots. Live service doesn't do anything.
No.
It's just money being flushed down the drain because you're not going to beat the prime contenders that are already there. Like, if the following generation, if we do get a PS6 in 2 years, if the following generation is back to what it used to be, which is just a ton of single-player or multiplayer games, like co-op games, because, again, if we're just going to chase online multiplayer, you know, competitive, like, again, it's going to be the same problem all over again. But if we go back to, like, even the PS4 days, it wasn't nearly this bad. But, like, if we go back to PS3 era, where it's just a constant influx of quality gaming experiences, then sure, I don't, like, even $1,000 console isn't out of the realm of possibility if the library is worthwhile. The reason, even, and I don't know how you guys will feel about it in another year or so, because the Switch 2 is early in its development, but the biggest reason, aside from its price tag, is knowing that that library is not going to be large enough to be considerate of it right off the bat. If a PS6 comes out, and in 3 years we have at most 4 first-party games from Sony, what's the point of that console? And especially if at least 3 of them will be probably cross-gen.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of next gen right now is a oxymoron in a way. Like, it doesn't actually mean anything. It's just another generation where we sell you another overinflated piece of hardware that we don't make any money on and try to convince you to buy games for that now, when they haven't even figured out how to get us to buy games consistently for this one.
Yeah. That's the lesson.
So I don't know.
That's it right there.
Maybe we just shocking concept. Maybe we just release like a couple of games before we start talking about the next thing. Yeah. Like, well, if Wolverine comes out in the fall, I don't know. Can that be like one of like 5 games you release in a year? Shocking idea. Knowing our luck, it'll be 2.
If we get 2 Sony games between now and Wolverine, like Wolverine being one and another one by next fall as well, that's not announced yet, I'd be shocked.
Well, I mean, Saros would be one of them.
Yeah, Saros.
Oh, right. Okay, there we go. That's our 2. So whatever else you're hoping for, that's it. We're done. That's the 2.
Can't wait. And by can't wait, I mean I have to wait.
Yes.
Because there's nothing to play. Thank God for the indie scene. I don't know what the hell I do without it now. All right. Any last thoughts before we take this sucker off the air?
Nope.
All right. Sounds like a plan to me. So that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for checking us out there. So you all know the drill. You're watching on YouTube, watching our pretty faces and Kaylan's jazz hands. You obviously like that video and subscribe to the channel for more content. If you're listening on the audio platform, if you can give us a rating, please do so there. Otherwise, share with all your friends. This Friday on the SideQuest, Chris and I, we are back into our series of Best of Final Fantasy stuff. We did Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, it was most about the remake. Let's be real. The original, it's not nearly as interesting as the remake is, so we talk about that way more. Otherwise, Linktree, linktr.ee/pixelplay podcast, link to our Discord, link to our socials. Come and chat with us there. We are always happy to talk with y'all there. Otherwise, we will see you on the next episode. Who knows? Maybe the PlayStation 7 will start being in production by this point. Anyway, thank you so much for checking us out this week. Take care. Bye-bye for now.